All right. Hi. This is a semi-unplanned, unwarned live thing. I had so much fun doing the live streams from Europe that I figured I'd do an occasional one now that I'm back home. I'm at the Warren United Methodist Church down in the basement. And what it is, I got a whole slew of original songs that I never get to play anywhere. Red Hat Band does a few of them, but I got scads of them. And it's just a ridiculous amount. And I figured, well, I might as well start, playing these for people. And, had so much fun doing this live from Europe that I figured, well, why not keep doing it and do some of my own stuff? And if you don't like it, well, I guess you can let me know or just not watch. One thing I'd like to address, people who are sharp-eyed have noticed that I appear to have suddenly become left-handed. And they've asked me about that, and what it is that's how doing one of these on your phone works. I could be right-handed if I turned the phone around, but then I couldn't see where I was in the shot. So the only way I can see, make sure that me and the whole guitar and everything is in the picture is to do it this way. I noticed that when Jim Terrell plays live. He live streams a lot of his shows up to, Rosa Flamingos or wherever he's at. And I noticed, oh wow, he's left-handed. I wonder why that is. Then I did it and it's like, oh, okay, I think I get it now. Anyway, this first song I'm going to do, this had a very simple motivation behind it for doing this one. I wanted for a long time to write a song with Kancamagus in the title. And basically that's it. That's where it came from. Because I'm from around here. I'm from, central New Hampshire. And if you've lived in Lincoln or Woodstock for any length of time, you've heard an awful lot of people, even a lot of locals, say the word Kancamagus. There's no such thing as Kancamagus. You look at the word on the Kancamagus Highway, and it's Kancamagus. There's only one N in it. And the Kancamagus Country Store on Main Street in Lincoln even has it spelled out phonetically on the sign of the building with a big wooden sign. So this is basically a public service kind of song, where anytime you see the song and listen to it, you're going to hear the name pronounced correctly. So you're welcome. So now I had to have a reason to write a song about Kancamagus, and I thought about, because now Kancamagus was a great chief in the 1600s of the Native American tribes in New Hampshire. He led a thing called the Pennacook Confederation, which was a gathering of a whole number of different tribes that stretched from the seacoast and into Massachusetts, about 3/4 of the way up New Hampshire and into Maine, and I think a little bit in Vermont maybe. But it was but he was the Sagamore of the Pennacook Confederation. And if I'd been smart, I'd have written down the names of his grandfather who founded I think that was, but anyway, his father and grandfather have parts of the Kancamagus Highway, places on the Kancamagus Highway, named after them. So if you go up there, you Google Kancamagus, and he was a great man. He really was, and a great leader in very troubled times. And you could take exception with the way he did some things, but the fact remains that in the end, his goal was peace. And it's hard to fault anybody whose goal is peace, especially considering the circumstances of the time. He was facing a tide as the European settlers came in. So I thought about writing a song about that, and it just never came together. So I wound up taking a different tack with this one. I play in a lot of bars. spend a lot of time in bars. And I don't drink very much, but I play music there. And so I've seen a lot of bars, and you will find bars that tend to cater to a specific clientele. You go into a neighborhood and the bar nearest the police station is probably patronized by a lot of policemen. When you're fired, there's firemen's bars, and you go to Washington and you go to the right bar and you can meet a whole bunch of different politicians. And you go down by the docks and you meet a whole lot of stevedores. And it's like that. So I'm imagining what kind of bar somebody like Kancamagus, who is a great historical figure, what kind of place would he go to knock back a cold one? And you go to one of these bars and it's like, sometimes the regulars are so regular that it's like you'll see the whole place full. Every stool at the bar is taken except one. And if you go to sit there, the guy next to you go, "Don't sit there, that's Charlie's stool." "Oh, okay, sorry." And when Charlie comes in, he goes right. It's like in Cheers with Norm, right? Was it Norm that had, I think so, I think it was Norm. And on Deep Space Nine, Morn had a seat. That was Morn's seat. So anyway, this is Kancamagus. I would imagine Kancamagus might hang out in a place like that. This is where we go. This is called Kancamagus Git-tar. Nobody sits on Hammurabi's bar stool. They don't want to disrespect the dead. Kancamagus Git-tar hangs on the wall. Take it and you could get slapped upside the head. Pliny was talking to Madame Curie last night, and Pliny said, "If I had access to Gutenberg's printing press, I could have told the whole truth about Trajan, spread it around, had him all up in a mess." I work in a bar where all the greats hang out. I wipe down tables, make sure the ashtrays are clean. Nobody notices me if I just keep busy. I should be fired, but the boss ain't that mean. The history makers come here to relax. They're loaded down heavy and deep in debt. I could have been one of them, but I'm not that unlucky. It's a good day if nobody's cussed me out yet. The great mystery of the uncaused cause, the lamb's blood and the lion's claws. He's with them all, the worst and the best. He's dad's strong arm and mommy's breast. He's in the leaf, but he's not the leaf. He's in the sea, but he's not the sea. He's in the wing, but he's not the eagle. He's in peanuts, but he's not the beagle. I was out watching the big parade, sipping some wine and sitting in the shade. I thought I saw myself going by, but it was just an illusion that the shadows made. Nobody sits on a Hammurabi's bar stool. They don't want to disrespect the dead. Kancamagus Git-tar hangs on the wall. And the other one I'm going to do today is, now, Kancamagus Git-tar, that's a pretty new song. I wrote that about 2 years ago. This one goes back a ways. It's one of the oldest songs in my repertoire. This comes from like March or April of 1984. And I was living in California, and I'd just become a Christian. And the pastor, we were going to have a baptism. There was 3 or 4 of us that were going to be baptized that day. So the pastor got us together, Jim Arnold, great guy, still in touch with him. He said, I'd like you to take, just for your own benefit, I'd like to take a piece of paper, draw a line down the center of it. And on one side, write BC, before Christ. And on the other side, AD. And then write down what you thought of yourself, what you think your friends thought of you, and what you think God thought of you. BC and AD. And so I wrote a song out of it. And it goes something like this, called BC AD. My old distorted mirror has been shattered. Nothing I see in it ever mattered. There were times when this world had me for its slave. For the thrill of the week, everything I gave. My motto was question authority. And the only thing in life that was important was me. And I knew there was a light shining deep down inside, and there was no place for me to hide. When our friends all used to say, boy, you was crazy, they didn't mind, 'cause I sure put on a show. Things that I fueled up on made me lazy, and for all my education, there's a lot that I did not know. Meanwhile, somebody's shaking his head and looking, offering me love while I was hooking. Finally got me backed into a corner, said there's only one way out, and the only other choice is straight down. I used to do, I used to be, I used to say, hey, but that was BC. And I am found, now I am free, no longer bound, you know this is AD. Now one day I was driving down the freeway, couldn't keep from hitting things that got in my way. So I let somebody better than me drive, and the road I'm on is straighter, and I'm glad to be alive. Now I'm a servant of the Holy King of Kings, and He has me do such wonderful things, yeah, yeah. He brought me out of darkness, and He showed me the dawn, and all I've got to do is have faith and hang on. Well, now my friends all say to me, come on in, brother. My family stretches all throughout the earth. My Father is the Lord, I'll have no other, and heaven celebrated on the day of my rebirth. Well, I think my Father's pleased to know I love Him. Every chance I get, I'm thinking of Him. He says, boy, there will be times when this old world's just gonna hate you. But when it's all been said and done, son, you'll be right here by my side. I used to do, I used to be, I used to say, hey, but that was BC. Now I am found, now I am free, 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 no longer bound. You know this is AD. And that's enough of that. So that's it for today. And thank you for watching if you're watching. And this is going to get posted on my YouTube channel, which I still think is a cool thing. Technology is so wonderful. If we'd have had that back in the 70s, then, well, 35 people could have heard songs that weren't as good as these, because I've learned a lot about songwriting. But anyway, if I feel like it, I'm going to keep doing this. I don't have a set time I'm going to do it, but you'll be able to go to the Rick Clogston / Rick Clogston Band page any old time and see it. I'm going to leave it right up there. And I'll also post it on my YouTube page and have some links to some other cool stuff there. Thank you very much for your indulgence. And in the golden words of the late, great J. Vernon McGee, may the good Lord richly bless you, my beloved.